Hello, everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. Asterisk, after returning to the garage and seeing the strange blood marks, I knew I couldn't let things go in silence. To get rid of the haunting, I had to find out what it was all about. And the only thing I could do was to learn about the past of the apartment building where I lived. The next day, I went to the city library and started digging through old records related to this project. At first, the information was just advertisements. From many years ago, a modern, comfortable apartment complex where residents could live in absolute safety. But as I dug deeper into the older archives, I began to see strange pieces of the puzzle. This building was built on land that had been an abandoned parking lot since the 1970s. Before that, the land had been a warehouse for a transportation company. And then I discovered an old, yellowed newspaper article that made my whole body shiver. The article was about a series of disappearances that had occurred right in this area. More than 10 people, mostly night shift workers, had disappeared without a trace. The police investigated but could not find any bodies. The case was classified as an unsolved mystery. The creepy thing was that the article described the testimony of the only surviving witness. He said that he had heard his name being called out in the cargo hold, and every time he turned around, he saw a tall, thin man with a pale face and strange red eyes. I was stunned when I realized that the description was exactly like the man I was meeting. I wrote it all down, my heart pounding. It couldn't be a coincidence. Something from the past had haunted this land, and the building I was staying in was just a new shell covering the ghost of history. I returned to the apartment management area and asked an elderly employee. At first she avoided me, but when I mentioned the symbols on the basement wall, her face immediately turned pale. After a moment of hesitation, she confessed that since the building was put into operation, many residents had complained about hearing strange footsteps, seeing shadows in the mirror, or feeling someone standing behind them even when they were alone. All complaints were suppressed by the management to avoid causing panic. She whispered to me, "There are things that do not belong to this world, but they have been here for a long time. You should not investigate too deeply, or there will be no way back." Those words made me even more afraid, but at the same time urged me to know more. Why did he call me by my name? Why did he know the details of my life? What do I have to do with those who disappeared in the past? That night, when I returned to the apartment, I searched through the documents I had copied. I paid attention to the list of missing people. Among the unfamiliar names, I found a familiar name: Joseph Carter. Coincidentally, that was my grandfather's name. I trembled. My heart stopped beating. I remembered what my mother had said, that my grandfather had mysteriously disappeared when she was young, and no one had found his body. The family had always avoided mentioning this story, and now I knew the truth. He was one of the victims of this land. A cold shiver ran down my spine. Could this haunting have been transmitted from the past, through my blood, and now it was clinging to me? I began to realize that I had not just accidentally become involved in a haunted story, but that I myself was a part of it. As night fell, I sat alone in the dark apartment, a feeling of unease enveloping me. Suddenly, the lights flickered and then went out. In the darkness, I heard a whisper, this time clearer than ever. "Joseph, Daniel. We will never leave this place." I screamed and rushed to turn on the light switch. The light returned, but right on the living room wall. Bloodstains seeped from the cracks, clearly written, "We are one." My whole body trembled, unable to distinguish between what was real and what was imaginary. The past of this building and my fate had long been tied together. It was just that I had just realized it now, and I understood that the nightmare was just beginning. Stay tuned for the next episode to see what happens when I decide to seek out other residents to find the truth.